Okay, so join me in the squat. Might as well squat while we're talking today. Pretty straightforward. There's only 2 movements. It's going to be an alternating emom. It's going to be 20 minutes of alternating what you do every minute. On the odd minutes, you're going to do 20 kettlebell deadlifts, or any kind of deadlift, odd object deadlift, dumbbell deadlift, some kind of deadlift, whatever kind of equipment that you have. And then on the even minutes, you're going to do 6 alternating clean and jerks. Again, with a kettlebell or a dumbbell, ideally, or I guess you can do this with a barbell too. It just wouldn't be alternating. You just do 6 clean and jerks, and just continue doing that, until 20 minutes runs out. Super simple. I would like to spend a little bit of time just making sure we know how to switch hands with the kettlebell, because it's alternating every rep. So we're actually going to add more work to it by switching hands every single repetition. That being said, we're already in the bottom of a squat. So let's get your elbows inside your knees, press them together, stretch them out a little bit. Try and get your chest up. A little bit of stretch in those ankles just to kind of get them moving a little bit. My ankles are finally feeling better. And give me a few full squats. Give me a few push-ups. Flip over. Give me a few sit-ups. Put your hands underneath your can. Give me a few leg lifts. Grab something soft for your knee if you need it. You're going to put your knee down on that something soft. Go out to a Sansom stretch. Switch sides. Get over there. Swing your arms to give yourself a hug. We're going to be going overhead, so we got to get those shoulders a little loosened up. Up and down. My shoulders are still sore from the overhead squats we did, the single arm overhead squats we did on Monday.
Yeah, those are kind of rough.
Those are brutal. Oh my God. Stretch out one shoulder. Stretch out the other. Circle those shoulders. Yeah, like all the muscle around the shoulder blades that had to retract in order to do the single arm overhead squats. Oh man, I was feeling those. Big circles. Other way.
I know yesterday on the left side, not every time, I went to do a setup with the weight on my left side. My shoulder just kept cracking.
Ooh, super tight. Okay. So what I wanted to go over, I'll just go through each movement really quick. Okay. So first things first, we've all deadlifted before, but basically I just want to make sure that when you're deadlifting, this is good because you can see me from the side. We want to set our body into a position to where our posterior chain, our hamstrings, our glutes, and our spinal erectors are all going to be working together at the same time to pick something heavy off of the floor. Now, we don't have something super heavy today, but we want to be as efficient as possible. So we're going to sit our hips back first, and our shoulders are going to come forward to compensate for that. That's already going to get our hamstrings a little tight. And then I'm going to bend my knees just a little bit to come down and grab the handle. Now, if you look at me here, my knees are a little lower than my hips are a little lower than my shoulders. And from here, I'm going to basically, just like with a barbell, you know, if I had a barbell, I'd have to get my knees out of the way, but they'd still be bent a little bit, and then everything would straighten out at once. So we're gonna do the same thing with a kettlebell. So if you look at me from the side, I'm going to start by almost like you're coming up out of a squat. I'm just going to start to straighten my knees until I'm about knee level, and then everything is gonna tighten and straighten at the same time. So usually what I tell people to simplify that is get your knees out of the way and then squeeze your butt. Knees out of the way, squeeze. Then you gotta tap, knees out of the way, squeeze. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
As long as you squeeze your butt, then your posture is just gonna get nice and straight. We're not doing any kind of lean back or anything away from it. It's just, once it's past your knees, just squeeze your butt and that'll get everything tight for you. Nice and simple, right?
Yeah.
Sweet. And I'm using a pillow just because I don't want to scratch my foot. So the other thing is going to be an alternating kettlebell clean and jerk. So we've done plenty of kettlebell jerks a few weeks ago, so that should be fairly familiar. You've done plenty of this. What I want to talk about is the half rotation switch, and that's a fancy way of saying how we're going to switch hands during it. So first things first, it's going to look like this. So into the backswing. I'm going to put my fingers over fingers and switch hands. This is a great exercise by itself, but we're just going to use it to switch hands today. Now, what I want to emphasize is when we're switching hands with the kettlebell, we're going to grab the kettlebell by the same part of the handle. So if you look at this sideways, I'm going to grab it by the corner of the handle that my thumb is closest to. So I'm grabbing it up here, if you can see that. Now, when I switch hands, my other hand is going to grab it in exactly the same spot. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put fingers right over the fingers that are on the kettlebell, and then the fingers that are underneath, they just kind of slip out. So if you look at my hand now, I'm still holding it by the corner my thumb is closest to. You're not doing any weird hand work. You're not letting go of the kettlebell. It's just you're holding on with one hand. You're going to put fingers over fingers, and the other hand's going to slip out. And all that's going to happen in that split second that the kettlebell is just kind of floating out in front of you. So with that in mind, watch me do a few more reps, okay? The kettlebell is not going airborne. I'm in contact with the kettlebell at all times. I've never seen anybody drop the kettlebell while doing this correctly. They only drop it when they start, flinging it up and trying to catch it in midair. As long as you stay in contact with the kettlebell, none of that happens, and we don't have any angry neighbors or landlords. Sound good?
Yes.
Cool. Now, if you're using a dumbbell, do the same thing with a dumbbell. If you're grabbing by the middle of a dumbbell, pretend this is a dumbbell, of course, you're going to go into that backswing, you're going to pop it up, fingers over fingers, slip it out. Fingers over fingers, slip it out. Same thing, okay? It's not quite as, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not as pretty as with the kettlebell, because the kettlebell is kind of made for this sort of thing. But it works just fine with the dumbbell. I've done it before, it's fine. You want to give that a few practice tries?
Sure.
And then I'll talk about the actual, I'll mention a few things on the jerk, but I don't want to spend too much time on it.
So, right side, and then it's just.
That's it. Super smooth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's something about the half rotation switch. It's just really fun for me. I've done workouts where I've just been like, I'm just going to do 500 half rotation switches. And it's actually a really good workout. But we're not only doing that. We're going to, again, this is just to switch hands. So on every even minute, 2, 4, 6, yada, yada, we're going to do 6 alternating kettlebell clean and jerks. So what that's going to look like is I'm going to do a clean and then a dip and drive for a jerk, bring it back, half rotation switch, and do the same thing on this side. So that's 2, half rotation switch, 3, and I would keep going until I've done 6. So because we're alternating hands and we have that extra swing every rep, 6 doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a pretty decent amount of work for 1 minute. I'm hoping to get it done around like 35-ish seconds every minute, assuming we don't get super tired. Because I want rest in every minute, I want you to try and make everything unbroken. 20 deadlifts with this lightweight should be doable for the entire time. Things are just going to burn a little bit. But you should have a little bit of rest every single minute before you move on to the next one. Sound good?
Yeah. So how many? So is it 6 on each hand or 3 and 3?
It's 3 and 3.
3 and 3. Okay.
Yep. 6 total, alternating. So again, the workout is 20 minutes. On all the odd minutes, we do 20 deadlifts and then rest for the remainder of the time. On every even minute, we're doing 6 total kettlebell clean and jerks, alternating hands, and then rest for whatever remainder of time we got. It's that simple.
Oh, well.
And I don't actually have an emom timer, but luckily YouTube does. So I just found I just went on YouTube and Googled 20-minute emom timer. And there were a ton of different options. I chose one with music. So are you ready?
Yes.
All right, we're going to start with the deadlifts. 3. Oh, wait, that's 5. Go. Awesome. Just above 30 seconds. Still kind of warming up, but we'll get warm. The next is going to be the alternating clean and jerks in 10 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit it. Yeah, just about 35 seconds. Good. All right. Not too bad of a start, huh?
Yeah.
You know what? I was using a 20 kg. I think I'll see if I can use 24. 3, 2, 1, hit it. Oh yeah, that's gonna burn. That is gonna burn by the end of this.
Doesn't seem so bad until probably about minute 12. That's going to be pretty bad.
3, 2, 1, clean and jerk. All right. Of course, if I want to make this really, really nasty, turn into a double kettlebell workout. That would be awful.
We don't smash fingers.
3, 2, 1, deadlift. It's only so fast you can do this. As long as you do it unbroken, you're gonna have plenty of time rest.
Yeah.
Ooh, I stink.
Wow.
Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, clean and jerks. That's actually feeling pretty good now. Getting all warmed up.
Go with the other hand, like it keeps following.
What's that?
Go with the hand, like it just rests on the kettlebell handle.
Hold on, deadlift first.
All right.
Okay, what was your question?
Oh no, I just keep forgetting to let go every time I swing.
Uh-huh.
Right. Like if I'm trying to go from left hand to right hand,
Uh-huh.
my left hand will just rest on the handle. It won't grip it. So it'll be kind of like this, just laying on it.
Huh. So, switching. All right, hold on. So if you watch me from here, we're going. I'm turning my thumb up here like that, and then switching there. And go. Two. So at the top of the swing, I'm like this. When it's just floating there for that split second, I'm putting my fingers over fingers this way and letting go. And deadlift. Three, two, one, clean and jerk. All right, we are halfway there. Three, two, one, deadlift. Back to the hand jerk in 4, 3, 2, 1. 8 more minutes. We are deadlifting in 3, 2, 1. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Six more minutes. Back to deadlifts. In 3, 2, 1. Five more minutes. Back to clean and jerks in 4, 3, 2, 1. Four more minutes. Just 2 more of each. Ready in 3, 2, 1. Second to last clean and jerk. 10 seconds. Ready in 3, 2, 1. Hit it. All right, one more of each. Last deadlift in 3, 2, 1. All done with deadlifts. One more set of jerks and we're all done. Ready in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. That was fun.
Was.
Not like
I
a,
a couple times, but hey.
it wasn't so bad. It was a nice one just to keep moving. Could have maybe added another 10 minutes to it. Make it a 30-minute instead of 20-minute. What do you think?
It'll be more intense, but not like painstakingly brutal.
Yeah, we could do it. Maybe next time.
Next time.
The same thing, but have it 30 minutes to 20 minutes? I think so. So today, we worked the posterior chain with those deadlifts. We did some overhead stuff, but really because we were also doing cleans, our posterior chain is really the thing that got hit the most. And that can be a little bit hard to kind of stretch out or recover with it. So ideally, I would use a, let's see, I have it right here. Ideally, I would take a lacrosse ball, and I put the lacrosse ball basically right on the meaty part of my rear, and just kind of sit on it. Let me move the camera just a smidgen, so you can actually see. So I take it, put it basically like not on the side, but not on the bottom, kind of in between, because the meaty, muscly part of your bum. And then I go into like a butterfly position like this, and I would just move this knee up and down, and I can even like lean into it a little bit, just kind of dig into that meaty part of your glute, and really spend some time in with there. Oh, there it is. I found it. This is also good to do. Again, I mean, we're quarantined, so we're probably spending more time sitting than we're used to. Your glute can really fall asleep and get stretched out and kind of stuck there. Just beating it into submission with a lacrosse ball's really good. If you don't have a lacrosse ball, really any kind of ball that a tennis ball wouldn't really work for this because it's too soft. I'm just gonna squish it, but any other type of ball would work. If you don't have a ball but you have, say, a foam roller. Yep. Grab my foam roller. You can do the same thing on the foam roller. The way I do that is I start by taking a seat. Let me get into the picture here. I start by taking a seat on the roller, and then let's say I want to work my left. I take my left leg, put it over the other knee, and then slightly lean that direction. See that? And then I can go on and off that one same spot, the meaty, muscly part of your glute, and really spend some time digging into there. Both of those would be my recommended first thing to do to recover from a workout like that, where you do 200 deadlifts. Not that they were super heavy, but in general, that's a good place to start. And if you want to work, say, your hamstrings, again, my favorite one for the hamstrings is, again, with the lacrosse ball. It's better if you have like a wooden chair, or, you know, if we're at the gym, we'd use the box, but something you can sit on and just kind of dig that into your hamstrings. It kind of works on a wooden floor, but with an actual chair with your feet off of the floor, you can just dig in there a lot deeper. I guess I could use my stoop over here, but yeah, the wooden floor, it'll work, and you can really just move this lacrosse ball up and down, spend time on each spot. You can move it closer to the inside, closer to the outside, really just kind of freestyle and look where you want to have that tight muscle just kind of beat up a little bit, loosened up a little bit. Super good. And then the other thing that I want to just kind of hesitate for is the other thing that people would look for would be their lower back. And in general, I don't use stuff like this on the lower back. I don't even use the roller on the lower back. I always keep it like mid to upper back. It's because our lower back, you don't really want it to get too loose. You want your lower back to be a stable piece of steel when you're deadlifting a lot of weight. If you do a whole lot of mobility and beat the crap out of your lower back, in my experience, that tends to lead to more pulled muscles or tweaks than not. The moment I see people start to do that is, I tell them not to do that, but if I can't stop them before they do that, I tend to hear more complaints about lower back pain. So I tend to not use stuff like this unless there is a very specific need for it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So go ahead. You can beat the crap out of your glutes. You can beat the crap out of your hamstrings. Leave your lower back alone. And that would be my recommended mobility for that. Are we good? Are we happy?
I'm happy.
I'm happy. All right. That's all I got for you. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening.
You too.